Manchester United are riding high. They are surfing the high seas right now under Michael Carrick, prompting many to say, hey, this guy should have the keys to the kingdom. Why end a good thing? Others, they take a more cynical or realist, I guess, point of view. He's still inexperienced as a manager. He's playing in one competition only. He hasn't yet faced the reality of what being a manager for a big continental club is really like. But in my opinion, Michael Carrick has flipped things on its head. He was the risk when it came to making things permanent. But now the risk feels like it would be, well, whoever else they bring in. Fellas, hello, welcome to and welcome back to Rabona TV. I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm training for a half marathon, but that doesn't mean I don't have the energy to speak on Carrick and United. Oh no. So if you like videos hosted by someone actively in pain, I'm your guy. Anyway, let's go over reasons against Carrick and reasons for him as well, as I think he's the right choice right now. The big elephant in the room, well, it's not even an elephant in the room because everyone keeps talking about it, is how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer also started so well as an interim or caretaker manager, and then things started to go downhill. You know, it's really funny what time does, right? And I guess it also kind of speaks to the slide that United has been on in general when it comes to Premier League performances, which is the barometer of the overall health of a club, right? The league. Anyone can win a cup, that can happen, but it doesn't show the true health of your club. Chelsea is in a slide right now, and they could somehow defeat Man City in the FA Cup final. It could happen, but their league position, mid-table, it's kind of how they've performed, right? So, while United had won a couple of cups under Ten Hag, their average league position was sliding down the table, and the slide had started in Ole's final season. But the decline in performances and results got him the sack, and the fact that his points per game in the Premier League slid by 0.76 points from 2.46 as a caretaker to 1.72 as a full-time manager has everyone feeling apprehensive about giving Carrick the keys. How many times am I going to say give Carrick the keys? Journalist Nick Miller released an article back in January that analyzed all 21 caretakers who then became permanent managers in the history of the Premier League. And by his own admission, Nick Miller's that is, it isn't a perfect way of analyzing things, but he looked at the points per game of the managers when they were a caretaker versus when they became the permanent manager. All but 4 of them actually managed to improve their points per game total. So 17 out of the 21 saw their points per game slide lower. Now, as mentioned, not a perfect way of grading a manager, as you inevitably have a much larger sample size from the time that they were the permanent manager. But still, it's this notion or this narrative overall that is working against Carrick, that it can only get worse from here. On top of that, for those who care about deep underlying statistics, those people are fearful that Carrick's results will crash soon because, as you can see from this post from Spencer Mossman, there are indeed plenty of statistical areas where United were better under Amorim, such as expected goals differential, etc., all the ones in green. But the players have said that Amorim did in fact teach them a few things and improve them, despite results not being great. I believe Matheus Cunha spoke of how the success they are having now is in part because of Ruben Amorim. Maybe he taught them a few things, gave them some new things in their tool belt, and Carrick is the one that is now giving them the guidance that they need in a system that better suits them, that brings the best out of them. But the cynical or hesitant fans amongst the United support fear that the underlying numbers could catch up to Carrick and their results, and things could take a negative turn quickly, especially when considering how the schedule will be much more difficult with the Champions League football added to the mix for United. There are those who say that United need a manager with UCL experience, but some of the managers being linked with United don't even have that themselves. And if they do, it's not as though they had much success balancing a continental competition while playing in the UCL themselves, let alone a continental breakfast. Anyway, you know what? Let's get to that part of it, the other managers. With Anthony Iraola now becoming available at the end of this season, it is confirmed there are those who are clamoring for United to sign him. And I get it, he helped to elevate Rayo Vallecano in La Liga, and he is currently elevating Bournemouth in the Premier League. They are a fantastic side. One thing that makes me a little nervous about Iraola, however, is that he is at a club that absolutely punches above its weight because of how incredible their scouting and recruitment is. Just look at the players that have left Bournemouth over the last few transfer windows, and you will see that they are absolutely incredible at putting a great squad together, that they sign the talents that big clubs aren't ready for until they go to Bournemouth and their price tag skyrockets. Brentford is another decent example of this. Fantastic with recruitment despite losing key players all the time, and they choose a manager who can play within that system that they foresee with their squad. And once they move on, it's a toss-up as to how that manager will do. Thomas Frank really struggled after leaving Brentford, whether it was due to being a big step up, at least in the profile of the club internationally, or down to what I've mentioned here about the recruitment of clubs like that being perfectly balanced squads. I don't know. Tailor-made for these coaches. But for me, Iraola at United is no more of a gamble than Carrick himself would be, as both have their positives. More on Carrick's later. Iraola has managed in a couple of different countries, that's true, but just one outing in the Europa League, I believe, when it comes to continental football. There are a couple of coaches that would become available or could become available after the World Cup. Nagelsmann and Pochettino stand out. Both are just maybes, of course, though. Nagelsmann's contract still until 2028 with Germany. Pochettino is yet to confirm his plans after the World Cup. Of the two, Pochettino brings you the kind of experience that United supporters like, though he too has his critics, as he has won as many domestic trophies as Michael Carrick in England. 0. But when it comes to managerial experience, he absolutely trumps almost everyone, or does trump everyone that has been mentioned so far. Unai Emery, that's a name kicked around. He has the same problem as Nagelsmann. His contract isn't up for a few years yet, due to expire in 2029. Anything is possible in the football financial world. Contracts can be bought out, torn up, anything is possible. And of everyone mentioned, Emery seems like he would be the best choice, in my opinion. He can manage a team that is competing in multiple competitions. Players seem to love him as he's charismatic and funny. He has the pedigree of success at the continental level, and the dude may add a 5th Europa League title to his cabinet. I mean, he's got it. For me, he's the only one that has me kind of, looking over my shoulder. But just because Emery has had success elsewhere and plenty of experience, United has taught us that this doesn't really matter. They've had the experienced manager in Louis van Gaal. That didn't work out. They went with the legendary manager in Mourinho. He won trophies, then that fizzled out. After Solskjaer came Ten Hag, a guy who commanded youth and had a distinct, attractive style of play at Ajax, a couple of trophies. League position began sliding. The young prodigy Amorim, that was a bust as well. And so why not ride the wave with Carrick? The players all speak highly of him. Bruno, Cunha, Maguire, senior figures or leaders in the squad speak of how he has been able to make them feel like conquerors, as Cunha said. Quote, how he teaches everyone is amazing. He has the magic with these Ferguson times. Then he comes and brings it to us, teaches us how it was to be part of everything. Then he did this. It's amazing. He's a pleasure. Of course, I think he deserves it. That was after the Liverpool match. And not only do they like him, but these guys are performing under Carrick. Cunha and Fernandes in the attack. Seško as well has begun scoring. Casemiro is playing the best football he has ever played in a United shirt. He's leaving though. Kobbie Mainoo looks like the player he had always promised to be before Amorim, and so many more. In general, the players have been lifted. And this sounds incredibly stupid to say out loud, but vibes are important. You cannot underestimate the effect that vibes have on a team's performance. Ancelotti's second stint at Real Madrid has been the best example of that. When the players are happy, when they enjoy how they are playing, they play better. And that's what has happened under Carrick so far. And so for United to cut this off at the end of the season to bring in someone who cannot guarantee they will be successful at United, any more so than you can guarantee things will sour under Carrick, seems like a foolish thing to do. When the going is good, stick with it. Don't hand him a Chelsea-style 9-year contract or anything. Start small, a year or two contract, and go from there. Make him earn his keep. Make him earn his right to stay at the club for longer than that. Because in this moment, with what he has done so far, he's earned the right to extend his stay. In my opinion, of course. What do you guys think? Good idea? Bad idea? Adrian, the half marathon training has broken your brain. Let me know. Other than that, I'll see you later this week for more Champions League. Watch alongs as well. Bye-bye.